No in the bag, bitch.
Okay guys, so I'm finally settled down. Look, hold on. Before I even get into it, look. So we got the press-ons. Yes, press-ons. The lashes. Watch my previous video of how I did my lashes. Yes, I did them myself. I also recorded how I did this hairstyle. So if you want to see all of that, go and watch my previous tutorials. Thank you. And also while you're here, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. So let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. What's new? So today I'm going to give you guys a little story time about the time I felt like I was set up. So this story time takes place when I first transferred into the school that I graduated from. I graduated high school kind of like in age a year early. So the people, when I transferred, the people that were freshmen were my age. And the people that were sophomores were always like a year older or like 2 years older than me. Also, y'all, I'm gonna be eating during this. It's late and I got some leftover Popeyes. Y'all not finna judge me. But crunchy air fry. We are going to call the three people, the three friends that I met. We're gonna call them Red, Gina, and Karina. So Red and Gina, all three of them were freshmen. Red and Gina were roommates. Karina lived on the same floor. They lived in the freshman section of the campus, which was like all the way across campus from me. So like they would link up more than I would link up with them because it was just a little bit of a distance. But at the same time, like we had a little group chat. So like our thing was like we would link up and like text each other about like little moves or like little events, and we'd all go together, right? And it became kind of a routine. So Red was kind of more so like the more outgoing one of the group. She ended up meeting this one guy. We're gonna call him Greg. And let's say Greg was really like, he was already established on campus, like he was a junior. He would also throw like a lot of parties and things like that. We would go to parties. We would go to Greg's parties. He'd like plug them in, etc., etc. Everything was all cool, all gravy. I thought everything was smooth. Like I didn't think there was any issues going on like at all. Greg had a cousin. We're gonna call him Kevin. I honestly don't remember his name. So if his real name is Kevin, like, yikes. So we would all like link up and like text each other in the group chat. Like we would have a good ass time in the group chat. Like, so it started to become clear after a while that Kevin kind of had a little crush on me. I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but I did think he was cute. I wasn't talking to anybody at the time, so like, you know, it was what it was. Like, you know, it is what it is. It was what it was, etc., etc. They would like egg it on sometimes every here and there. Mind you, it's the fall semester, so my birthday was coming up. I'm a Virgo, by the way, if you didn't know. My birthday's coming up, and I didn't really have anything planned. Gina and Red and Karina, they texted me like outside. I think it was outside the group chat, but they texted me. They're like, "Hey girl, what you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just chilling in the dorm. What y'all doing?" They're like, "We're coming through." I'm like, "Okay, cool." They're like, "You gotta get dressed." I'm like, "Okay." I start getting dressed. They come into my dorm. They're inside my dorm, and they start going through my closet. I'm like, "What's going on?" They're like, "Oh, you're about to go on a date." And I'm like, "Oh." They're like, "Yeah, we set up a date for you and Kevin. He wanted to take you out for your birthday. And y'all are going to the Cheesecake Factory." I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool. Like, I thought it was super sweet." They had him pull up. Mind you, Kevin did not go to school with us. Like, he lived like, I think 30 minutes away. Just keep that in mind. They helped me pick out a dress. They helped me pick out an outfit. You know, I was looking cute. I went outside with my little heels on. They came outside all excited, hyping me up. Kevin's outside in his car. He comes out the car. He has flowers. I'm like, oh, y'all really took the time to set this up and really took the time to plan a whole little date for me. And I'm sitting here thinking like this is something like real friends do. When I went to school there, like my goal was to like make some real friends. Like I really wanted to make some like genuine ass friends. And so I was like, wow, like this is really nice. Like I've never like, you know, just had a group of friends just come and like set something up like that for me. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. We go out to the Cheesecake Factory. I think the three of them tagged along. Of course they didn't sit at the same table as me and Kevin. They ate their food. Like I didn't trip about that. Like, you know, we had a good time. Like it was a really good time and I really enjoyed my birthday. You know, it got to the point where, okay, it's time to go back home. He's like really, really tired. Mind you, he lives like 35 minutes away. So I think he dropped them off first because they didn't drive. He dropped them off at their dorm first, then came back to mine. And I was like, well, it's really late. Like if you're really tired, like you really don't have to get on the road. Like you can come stay in my dorm. So I let him stay in my dorm. Nothing happened. And I remember it, like I can tell you guys nothing happened because I remember specifically, like I was like, well, I'm not the type of girl, I told him this, I was like, I'm not the type of girl who, you know, I don't get down super fast. Like even though it's my birthday and stuff like that, I know some people be thinking, oh, you know, it's time to get on and popping, but like no, like we're not even dating. Like I just met you, I just got to the school. So, and like he said to me, like he really liked that. He was like, I just like the fact that you're like kind of old school, like you kind of classic and da 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 da. And I'm just like, yeah, like I'm eating it up. You know, the next day comes, it's the morning. He left and came back and brought me some Bojangles. And you know, he's just telling me like, I really enjoyed this time with you. Like we had great conversation. Da 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 da. I hope we can go on more dates. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, cool. Or so I thought. Just wait, y'all. The plot twist is coming. Because y'all not about to be ready for this. After the date, I'm thinking, I'm like in butterflies. Like, I'm just like, you know, I just went on this cute date. My friends helped him set it up. I'm on like 10. I'm just on 10. And so, y'all, remind you, like I said, we used to hop in the group chat. Kevin, his cousin, Greg, his cousin who actually goes to the school, the one who be throwing parties and stuff, he had not been texting in the group chat like that. I peeped, but I didn't really like think nothing of it because I'm like, okay, maybe he's just kind of on his own. And eventually, like, he left the group chat. And I was just like, I think before Greg left the group chat, he said SMH and then he left. I ain't think nothing of it. I ain't asked no questions. Went about my day. A week goes by and the group chat has been like real quiet. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Nobody was really talking like that. Weird, very weird, because like I said, the vibes in the chat was right. We used to be talking like every day. So I didn't think much of it. But the weekend came and I'm like, hey, like, what's moves? Nobody responded. I'm like, okay. I think I text Red and I'm like, hey Red, like, what's going on this weekend? No reply. I text Karina. Hey Karina, like, what you doing? What y'all doing? No reply. Like, okay. So I was like, I guess there ain't nothing going on this weekend. So I'm gonna just chill in my dorm. I'm just sitting in my dorm doing my work, just kind of bored. And so I start going on Snapchat. I'm scrolling through Snapchat. I get on Red Snapchat and she's at a party. And she's flipping the camera and she's like showing Gina behind her. Gina's all like, yeah, da da da. Damn, y'all couldn't tell me? Like, okay. So I message her she reads it and doesn't respond. And I'm like, I go on Gina's Snapchat. I see her like showing the camera, da 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 da. Mind you, they're at Greg's house. I know what Greg's place looked like because he always throwing parties and whatnot. I didn't message Gina. I didn't message anyone else because after Red didn't respond, like, I know how people move. Like, I've dealt with the mean girl vibe, and I know how it starts. And it always starts with some weird BS. And I always get this really weird gut feeling when some weird vibes is going on. So I was like, all right, well, I'm bored. I'm gonna pull up to this party. I don't care. So I pull up to the party because I knew where Greg lived. And mind you, like, Greg always threw parties. So it wasn't like I was just pulling up to the house rent. Like, everybody knew where this man lived. Like, it wasn't no secret. Like, everybody was in this place. Also keep this in mind. Kevin didn't have like an iPhone, so like just it's kind of irrelevant, but just I guess it answers some questions, I guess. I pull up to the party. I park beside what I think is Red's car. I think it was Red's car. And so I get out my car, I walk up to the front, and I see Kevin. Kevin is drunk. Kevin is drunk out his mind. I mean, like, he's stumbling, like, he smelled like alcohol. He's, like, kind of blocking the door, like, trying to check for people coming in and out. And I look at him, oh, I'm skipping. Also, this week, remember I said the group chat was quiet? He also had not been messaging me all week. After he took me out on this date, like a group chat aside, like me and him used to be on the phone, me and him used to text, all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And like he used to have phone issues. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he was having phone issues. Hint why the iPhone thing is kind of relevant. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? I have not heard from him literally all week. Maybe it's been almost 2 weeks because I'm sure I wouldn't even be tripping off 1 week. Like, it had been some time since I even seen Red or Gina or Karina or anybody. So I walk past him. He sees me, but he's just drunk. So I walk in the party and I'm like, let me go find Red. Let me go find Gina. Let me go find Karina. First person I see is Gina. Gina's standing next to Red. I walk up to them and I'm like, hey guys, like, what's up, y'all? Like, thinking like everything is still all good. No, they did not even acknowledge me. So I'm like, okay, like I'm sensing a vibe, but like I'm in my head, I'm also like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Trust your intuition, y'all. So they're having a conversation. They keep having a conversation. And I'm just kind of standing there. And Gina's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, she keeps like kind of turning her back. And I'm just like, and Karina walks up and she sees me and she's just like, oh. And then she starts talking to them. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, what's really going on? Red's like, okay, well, we're about to go outside and we're going to go to the car and let's go smoke. They smoked. I didn't. But like when they used to do that, like I used to still hang out with them because I'm pretty sure Karina didn't smoke either. We would still hang out together. Like, we were a group of friends, you know, so it wasn't weird until this moment. And I did not know why. Like, nobody was explaining what was going on. You know, they start walking out to the car. And Gina grabs Kevin. Gina grabs Kevin. She's like, hey, come on. I'm walking behind them. They start walking to the car. And when Gina grabbed Kevin, like, she grabbed his shirt. Mind you, Gina got a boyfriend. She grabbing his shirt. And she's still holding on to his shirt as we're walking to the car. And next thing you know, he's grabbing up on her. And she's grabbing up on him. And I'm walking behind. I'm walking right there. And I'm sitting here like, huh? And Gina's like, oh, I'm cold. And Kevin's like, oh, you can have my jacket. Like, that, mind you, he's drunk out of his mind. And she's like touching his face. And she's like rubbing his shoulder. And I'm like, I'm still walking behind. Red is laughing. Red, I felt like the vibes was wrong. I never felt myself get so hot in the chest. It wasn't the fact, like, no, he wasn't my dude. And like, no, we're not like the bestest of friends. But like, if we established a group and we, you know, had each other's backs at other parties and stuff like that, and you got a boyfriend, what is y'all doing? Y'all was in my dorm helping me pick out my outfit to go on a date with this man 2 weeks ago. So I'm hot because I'm getting mad, but I'm like, am I tripping? Like, it was such like an unbelievable moment. I'm just like, am I tripping? Like, I was in such disbelief. We get in the car and I guess they start sparking up, and like Gina and Kevin are still at it. I'm sitting here like, does anybody else see this? And Red is still cracking up. And at that moment, I was like, I need to leave because I'm getting mad. I said, I just got to this school. I can't be showing out. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that today. I'm so mad that like, I'm like, why am I in the car with y'all? Like, I'm just sitting here like questioning things. Like, why am I here? So I said, you know what, y'all, I'm finna leave. When I tell y'all nobody said anything, so I said it again. I'm like, yeah, I'm finna leave. Because I'm like, did y'all hear me? Like, am I quiet? Like, I'm like, am I invisible right now? I'm like, yeah, I'm finna leave. Nobody says anything. They still continuing. Kevin and Gina still. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I open the car door. I get out. I walk to my car. I cut my car on. And I go back to my dorm. Granted, I was mad. Like, y'all, I was really mad because I'm sitting here thinking, what the heck did I do for that treatment to be brought upon me? Like, what did I do? Literally, I couldn't think of anything. Like, there was literally nothing I could think of. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird. And so I was just like, this is weird. I don't like it. I'm gonna just be on my own. So for the next 2 weeks after that, I spent the next 2 weeks by myself. It was 1 week, and I'm walking through, like, kind of like a main campus area, and I see Red, and I see Karina. I don't see Gina. And they see me. They're like looking like a deer in headlights because it's been 2 weeks since they see me. I haven't been in the group chat at all. Like, honestly, like, I just didn't care at that point because I've already dealt with the mean girl BS before. And so I was just like, I walked straight past them, and it was like they were like looking at me, like kind of expecting me to say something. And I was just like, girl, bye. Like, I'm not even about to deal with that right now. And I guess at that moment, that's when they peep, like, okay, they know that I know what the heck was going on. I made sure they felt that, because when I walked past them, I made sure like they knew that I saw them. A few days passed by after that moment, and I'm in my dorm. I think it was another weekend night, like a Friday or something. And that's normally when people go out, but I didn't have people to go out with, so I just stayed in my dorm. I get a call, and guess who it's from? It's from Kevin. So I'm sitting there debating, like, should I even answer this phone call? Yeah, I answered the phone call. But mind you, I answered with kind of an attitude. I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, Lex. And I'm like, what's up? So you're mad at me? And I'm like, nah. Like, honestly, I'm not mad. I'm just kind of not really feeling whatever you have to offer at this point. And he's just like, damn, like, well, Lex, I'm calling because, I really want to tell you I'm sorry. Like, this has been on my mind for the past few weeks, and kind of did you kind of dirty. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, at this point, like, y'all, I'm over it. So he's just like, I kind of got something to tell you. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, well, have you talked to Red, or have you talked to Gina, or have you talked to Karina? And I'm like, no. He's telling me, like, don't even, like, if they try to reach out to you, like, just don't even be friends with them, because, like, honestly, there's a lot that you don't know. Like, you ain't telling me nothing. What happened? And so he's like, okay, well, the night after your birthday, I was getting ready to leave. And this is him talking. He's like, I was getting ready to leave campus and go back home, but Red and Gina had called me, and they were trying to ask me, like, what the details were on the date. Trying to ask, like, oh, I bet she didn't have anything to talk about. I bet y'all didn't really even do anything. Like, did y'all do anything that night? And when he said he told them, like, he told them I didn't give it up or anything like that. And he was trying to tell them, like, no, like, the date was cool. He was saying, like, Red was saying that I acted too ditzy for him, and that I was, like, not up to their level, and that he should talk to somebody else. And then they started kind of pushing on him that the somebody else should be Gina, because Gina thought he was cute. He went to their dorm after he left mine, and he stayed with them for the day. And in their dorm, he said they talked cash shit about me. They just didn't like me, basically, was what I was getting from it. And I'm just like, if you didn't like me, why would y'all befriend me? Like, if you didn't like me, why would you keep inviting me out to parties and stuff like that? And, like, clearly it stopped at a certain point, but it's just like, why fake it? And why set me up on a date? And why do this on my birthday? He said he spent the night there. The night after he spent with me, he spent the night there. And he slept with Gina. And they had sex. And Gina and Red lived in a freshman dorm, which meant the dorm was like, it wasn't suite style. So, like, their beds were still in the same room. So Red was there. And then they told Karina about it and told Karina not to say anything. After that phone conversation, Kevin apologized. So I told him, like, respectfully, you cool. Like, you seem like a nice person, but that's just all it is at this point. So I told him I was just going to have to cut him off, like, as if, it wasn't already cut off. Because he was trying to ask, like, if he could, like, make it up and da-da-da-da-da. He said, like, he even, like, was trying to bash Gina, talking about, like, he said, like, the sex wasn't good, and he was saying, like, she smelled like fish and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about none of that. You can tell me all of this, but it's not that, none of that information is gonna make me feel good. Like, I don't care. This is weird. A couple days after that, I ended up going to the library and I ran into Greg. This is the first time I'm seeing Greg in a few weeks, mind you. And he was like, hey, Lex, how's everything going? Da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, everything's going good. And he sits down, he's like, yeah, I kind of had to leave that group chat because I kind of, my cousin, because Kevin is his cousin, he was like, my cousin was telling me, like, about what was going on. And he was like, I just thought it was real flaw how, like, we would hang out with you and, like, we would all go to parties and stuff. And next thing you know, like, they created a separate group chat without me and will be talking shit about me. Said he told them about themselves. Said that he thought it was fake as hell. And he left the group chat. And that's why he left. And he was like, he didn't want to, like, get in between, like, any drama or anything like that. He saw what was happening. He didn't like it. So he removed himself from the situation. You know, he also apologized because he was like, you know, he just felt bad. I didn't really have anything to say. I was just like, well, thank you, like, for telling me. But like I said, it's not gonna make me feel any better. Like, I'm gonna just cut all that shit off. Later on, I ran into Red, and Red tried to spill tea, talking about her and Karina were getting closer because she was having roommate issues with Gina, saying Gina kept inviting boys over and sleeping with them. Gina had a boyfriend, and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, girl, I don't care. I don't care about nothing y'all gotta say at this point, because y'all did me dirty for no reason. And I kind of just cut things off because I was just like, honestly, like, I don't want to be friends with y'all. Like, I'm good. So, y'all, that's really the end of that story. That's how my friends set me up my freshman year, well, my sophomore year or my transfer year of college. My trust issues. Oof, child. Because it's so many stories I could tell. If y'all want to hear more of these stories, if y'all want to have more girl talks, you know, go ahead, comment down below. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel for more videos. Like this video. And if you've ever had a situation like this, go ahead and comment down below. I want to hear all the tea. And maybe we could turn this into like a girl talk series or something. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace and blessings.